lovelies. How are you all today? I won't say anything about the hair except I slept on it wet. I think that's probably all the explanation we need. Oh, goodness. I'm in my nice little home, back on the coast. Medford's not a bad city, but it was cold and snowy and rainy over there. And over here today, it's bright and sunny and about 55 degrees, which is nicer, much nicer. Okay, well, if you've looked at the recent Facebook posts on my page, you know that I had a bit of a trip over to Medford to get the cataract taken out of my left eye. And that one was the worst one. If I covered my right eye, all I could see was colors and shapes. I couldn't make out anything with that eye. And now it sees like 3 times as well as my right eye, which used to be my good eye. So the right eye is being taken care of next week when I go over there. And please pray for good weather, because wintertime traveling through the mountains to go over to Medford is very tricky. It kind of catches you, because here on the coast, it's hardly ever tricky. And if you don't pay attention to what's going on inland, like I wasn't paying attention to it, then the Lord has to do amazing things to keep you from killing yourself. And of course, this just thrills me when stories like this happen to me. So I thought you might like to hear about it. And this is like far from rare. This kind of thing happens to me all the time, where it's just, to me anyway, it's super clear that the hand of God is orchestrating everything. So I was puttering around on Monday, getting ready to go over to my Monday night reservation, because I was going to have surgery at 8:15 in the morning, and I didn't feel like driving overnight. So I'm getting all my things ready, and you know how you do. You got your checkoff list in your head. And when I checked my wallet, my driver's license wasn't there. And when you don't have a driver's license with you, you cannot check into a hotel. I'm old enough to remember the good old days when all you had to show up with was yourself and some cash, and you could stay anywhere you wanted, anywhere in this country or Canada. But our jackbooted thugs have taken care of that. You can't get away with anything these days. Fortunately, I'm no longer trying to get away with anything. So, anyway, yeah, I know that I can't check in unless I have my driver's license. So the packing and stuff goes on hold. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I turn my house upside down 3 times. I do the same sort of examination 3 times of the car, including looking under the seats, because the way my center console is constructed, it's very common for things to fall down between the seats. And I was nearly certain that it would be there. And if it wasn't there, I didn't know where the heck it would be. So I'm looking all around and can't find it anywhere, using, a flashlight to look in all the nooks and crannies. I pulled all the cushions off the couch. I felt all down around the sides of my recliner and looked underneath it, and got a pretty good 1.5 to 2 hour workout. There's always a silver lining. Looking for my driver's license. And I was unsuccessful. So then the packing approach, I'm serious, I was not delaying getting this eye taken care of. I have wanted to be able to see again for some time. And the fact that it was all going to happen this month, and now that was going to be fixed, I had a mission. I was not going to Medford. So I changed my packing strategy a little bit and tossed 3 pillows, 4 blankets, an ice chest full of food and drink, 2-gallon jugs of water, a raincoat, a flashlight, everything that you would. I pretended I was going camping because if I couldn't stay in the hotel, I was going to sleep in the car. And, you know, everybody was like, oh no, that's terrible. How can you go sleep? I slept in my car so many times. You wouldn't even believe it. Horse camping, getting stuck at airports overnight. Actually, one night stuck in an airport overnight. I found a nice, dark, quiet spot underneath an escalator and put my head on my pack, and I had known I was going to miss my flight, so I had grabbed one of the airport blankets and one of their totally inadequate little pillows, and I slept under the escalator from midnight until 6 in the morning. And the only interruption was I realized in the middle of the night that I was awake and not I was in a really dark pocket underneath the base of this escalator. Nobody could see me. And I woke up to a Muslim man saying his prayers in the other corner in the middle of the night. And I have to tell you, it was, you know, we all know the pros and cons of other religions, but it was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And he was under there for 10, 15 minutes, and then he went back to work, and he never even saw me, I don't believe. So anyway, back to camping in the car. I used to horse camp a lot and generally camp a lot. And I would say in my lifetime, I've probably slept in my car a couple dozen times. Anytime I get tired, if I'm traveling, I always sleep in my car. So to me, although it wasn't my preference, I had a nice king suite reserved at the Candlewood Suites. I don't know. Homewood Suites. It's a Hilton thing. Anyway, and I was looking forward to staying there because all their suites have a mini kitchen. You can cook your own food. There's a stove, there's a microwave, there's a dishwasher, even a dishwasher. So, plus it was costing me money, and sometimes I'm terribly cheap when it comes to myself. I just don't want to spend the money, but anyway, so I got the car all loaded, and by that time, it's 8 o'clock at night, and I'm not going anywhere. So I called the hotel, told them I wouldn't be there, and said to cancel my next night reservation because I might not be able to come then either because of the license. And I caught 4 hours of sleep until I had to get up and leave at 3:30 in the morning. I think it was 3:30. Yeah, it was, because my appointment was at 8:15, and I knew that I needed to build in extra time because it had rained overnight here. So it might have rained overnight over the mountains, and in the mountains it is snow. And when I thought of that and I did check the weather, not only had it been snowing over the route that I need to go, which is terribly twisty-turny, steep, some 25-mile-an-hour curves, 20-mile-an-hour curves. I mean, the weather had been just awful. So I said, oh, okay. Jesus didn't want me to drive in that bad weather, and so he made it so that I couldn't drive tonight. So anyway, I got up and went at 3:30 in the morning, and I still had not been able to find my license. And it was good that I allowed the extra time, because I allowed an extra hour and 15 minutes compared to what I needed. And I used up 45 of that, because once we got above, when I got above maybe 750 feet above sea level, all of that rain had been snow. And there were plowed bankings by the side of the road, places where you can see that people had gone off the road. I later heard that for a while that road had been closed the night before. It often is when there's snow because there's just no... It's that road that I've shown you before where on the left you've got a vertical mountain and on the right you've got an equally vertical down into a river. And there are lots of places with no guardrails. One thing I found out when I moved out west is that they're a lot more casual about guardrails than they are in the east. Probably because they'd have to have so many of them. Because where I live right here, everything's vertical. There's nothing that sticks, everything all the precipitation that falls on the hills goes straight down to the rivers. There's no such thing as a slow, drain off of the water. When it comes fast down that hill and into the river. And that's how it is all winter. So I was at a certain point on the way to Medford, when I reached a certain height, I was basically driving freezing slush-covered roads. The temperature was between 30 and 32. And there had been, I'm going to guess, about 5 or 6 inches of snow. And it melts quickly around here, and it had started to melt, but the road was an absolute mess. And I haven't driven in snow since I left Wisconsin. So I was very, very careful, extremely careful. And I did get over to get my surgery on time. I had about a half an hour. So I decided that I would text Circuit Rider and let him know. No, I had not found my license yet, but I did make it on time. And yes, the roads were very bad. So I was grateful to the Lord for using my own scattered stupidity to keep me home the night before. So I didn't end up either stranded or off the road. I'd seen lots of places where people went off the road. And one place where they were helping a guy still off the road because it was right at 32 and the roads were free, the surfaces were freezing. I could feel it slipping a little bit underneath my steering wheel. It's amazing how sensitive your hands can be on that steering wheel. I could tell that there was a little slippage from time to time. So anyway, I told him that, and then when it was time to go in, I said, well, before I go in, I'm going to go through the car one more time. Maybe the Lord won't go as far as making me sleep in the car. Maybe I'll find my license. And I got out of the car, and for the 4th time, I slid, there's electric seats, and I slid the seat all the way forward, prepared to go around and look under every single seat. And when I slid the seat forward, my license dropped out from underneath the seat. I'd done that 4 times already, and the night before, and it hadn't dropped out. And then I did that, and out it fell. Thank you, Jesus, for watching over me. It still takes my breath away when things like that happen. They happened half a dozen times while Circuit Rider and I were in LA for my lungs. And while we were here, when my breathing was so bad before we even went down to LA. There was one rescue after another, and just about the time that you would think that, you'd be back to normal and you wouldn't be all, look what the Lord did for me, he'd do it again. And some of them were very funny. I'll have to put them all on tape sometime, but that's my story. I never had to spend a moment sleeping in the car. I got my hotel suite. There was a whole day of extremely bad weather the day after I got my surgery. So I added an extra night, and I had two nights. And they checked me in early because I hadn't been able to make it for the first one that was already paid for. So I got to check in at like 10 o'clock in the morning after I had my eyes fixed. But I didn't have to sleep in the car, although I am prepared to, if I must. And I know people will fret, so maybe I'll lie until it's over. I don't know. My friend Cheryl was very nervous about me sleeping in the car, but I have a car with heated seats, and it's a diesel, so it will idle happily all the time. That's what they do with diesels in Alaska, you know, because it's hard to start them if they get cold. They'll just leave them idling all the time. They just sit there running so that they don't freeze up. So I would have been snug as a bug in a rug, and I would have had plenty of food, and it would have just been like camping. But I'm 64 years old with a new lung and eye surgery, so I surely was grateful that the Lord gave me my license back in time to check into the hotel. Alrighty, that's my update. I don't know what else is going on. I feel a little tired today. I do always after I travel. I feel a little tired, but no pain. Just marveling that the Lord's hand is apparent in every single thing. I had my Damascus Road conversion in February of 2007, and I'm still not over the effects of that, and I don't think I ever will be. I never stick with anything. I flit from place to place. I like to learn about different things. I almost never follow through on things because my attention span is so short. So my prayers when I was first converted was, please, Lord, let me just not forget this. Remind me of this if I start to forget this, because I don't want to be short-term Sally on this one. This feels so good. And he's never let me forget it. He keeps showing me. It's, anyway, I feel very blessed. And I pray every day for all of you to just feel as blessed and as happy. And, you know, not all the time. I'm not saying I'm Superwoman. I'm definitely not. Any strength I have is his strength. But it's just so nice to have that kind of faith and know that no matter what happens, the Lord's behind it and he's got a good plan. So I'll stop babbling now. If I could think of more news to tell you, I'd tell you, but all that's news for me right now is I do this all again starting next Monday. So I trust the Lord will take care of everything again. And you know what? If he doesn't, or if something ever happens, I want all of you to remember that that's a good outcome too. It really is. I'll miss you, but I'll see you when it's your turn. I won't mind going home to the Lord, but I won't mind many more years here with you either. We got to make that lung pay for itself, right? All right. Love you. Merry Christmas to everybody. My eyes are going to be good to drive in the dark so that I can go to the Christmas Eve church service. I'm very excited about that. No more constriction against driving at night. All righty. Love you. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll talk again soon. Bye.